Hello and welcome to the Board Game Badger. My name is Emma and today we are going to be playing Maquis. Maquis is one of the games that I highlighted as one of my top 10 solo games, and it is in fact my favourite small box solo game. And what I would like to do is periodically bring out one of those games from my top 10 list and spotlight it in greater detail, so I can show you how the game works in a lot more depth, in a lot more detail, and really go into all the reasons why these games are so great for me and why they have made it to my top 10 list this year. So we are going to start with Maquis, and I have the game set up all ready to go. And rather than provide an overview of absolutely everything that you see here, I'm going to give you more of a high-level overview and then jump into playing, and we'll go through the rest of the tokens and the rules and the items as and when we get to them. So this is Maquis, and the description on the rulebook reads: "You are a member of the Resistance, a small band of freedom fighters attempting to dismantle the Nazi occupation of France during World War II. The Axis-controlled government has installed a paramilitary unit called Maquis, tasked with policing the populace and fighting the resistance. Should the resistance prove to be formidable, the government will not hesitate to call on the German military to stamp out dissent. You have 15 days to complete 2 missions before the occupation discovers you. If successful, the resistance has won. However, if the town's morale drops to 0, or all 15 days run out, the occupation succeeds in crushing the resistance. Engage the Nazi occupation of France in une petite guerre to throw off the yoke of oppression and free your homeland." So, that's the object of the game. We are French Maquis, and this is the town that we're trying to defend. I have pre-selected the 2 missions that we're going to be aiming to complete today, and I will show them to you now. So the first one is Sabotage. The occupation runs a munitions factory on the outskirts of town. Infiltrate and sabotage the operation by any means possible. A worker must infiltrate the factory twice, then return a third day to deliver explosives. Okay, so we're going to be blowing up the munitions factory. Cool. We are also going to be engaging in some infiltration. So, the best place to collect reconnaissance is often from the inside. Insert a mole into the Maquis. Deliver 2 intel to this location. The worker must remain here until another worker delivers 1 weapon and 1 explosive. While the first worker is here, you may look at the top card of the patrol deck before the placement phase. Interesting. So those are our missions, and these are our workers. And on our turn, we will be moving around the town to gain the things that we need to complete these missions. So we're going to need some explosives, we're going to need some intelligence, we're going to need a weapon and an explosive. Gosh, we are blowing up everything today. So we're going to be placing our workers about the town. When we have placed a worker, the Maquis also place a worker. And at the end of placing 3 workers, which is the number that we start with, we have to be able to trace a route back to our safe house. If we can, great, we can carry on with our mission with whatever we've gathered along the way. If we can't, then that's when we start to have problems, as you will soon see. Okay, so let's get underway then. In terms of planning out what we're going to do, a few things instantly spring to mind. The first is the explosives that we're going to need for both of these missions. They are not produced anywhere on this board at the moment. In order to produce explosives, we first need to set up a chemist who can manufacture explosives for us. To do that, we need to install him in a spare room. So we need to build a spare room. And in order to do that, we need some cash, bribery money, I guess, for whoever owns the place, to make sure that we can do so safely. That's going to take some time to set up, and we're going to need to be aware of that. The other thing is that when we deliver intel to this location, the worker has to remain here, and that means we lose the benefit of having that worker, and I don't like to do that, particularly early on in the game. We do get compensated for that in that we're able to look at the top card of the patrol deck each turn, which can be useful, but I worry that at this stage of the game it's not going to offset the need to have that extra worker, especially when we have so much to do here. It's still worth bearing it in mind though. Okay, now both of these have these little symbols on here, which means that if we get up here and we are captured, we're still able to carry out our mission. So that's just worth remembering as we get to the end. Okay, so let's take our first turn. We want to set the chemist lab. We need some cash. We need some intel. And eventually we're going to need some chemicals for the chemist to turn into explosives. So I kind of want to be on this side of the board where I can get chemicals from the doctor, I can get intel, and I can have, in an airdrop, I can get money, I can get weapons as well. So staying on this side of the board allows me to achieve a few objectives at once. I'm going to go to Pont l'Evêque, which helps me to secure my route back from this side of the board. The patrol send the Maquis to Radio B. That's fine by me. And first thing I'd like to do, just to answer a question that I know I will get asked, is I don't do anything to memorize these cards, these patrol cards at all. Some people I think do, and thematically I think that probably works quite well. If you were actively running this kind of a mission, you would want to know the perambulations of the Maquis around town. That's something that you would absolutely want to do, and have some eyes on that. It's certainly something you're allowed to do in the rules, and from a thematic viewpoint, I think it's something you may want to consider. I don't do it beyond having just a general awareness that they have been to a certain place and just being aware of it. I don't try and track it super closely. I'd be interested to hear from you though, if you are somebody who does track, and what you feel that adds to your gameplay experience, and it may be something I give a go in the future. Okay, so next let's go to the doctor, and the patrol are going to the fence, which again is fine, that doesn't interfere with our plans at all. And then thirdly, I'm going to Radio A. Okay, he wants to go to the fence. Only one worker can be in one place at one time, so he can't go to the fence because he's already got a patrol there. So he's then going to try the second location on the card, which is the Rue Baderat, and he can go there. So we've actually on our turn managed to avoid the Maquis patrols, which is good. I should mention that these workers are not currently in play. They are in the cafe, chilling their boots, having some wine, and we may choose to or need to recruit them at a later stage in the game, but for now they're not in play. It can be easy to keep them off the board, but thematically I quite like to have them in the cafe waiting to be called on. Okay, so we can now do a little bit of cleanup. The worker in Pont l'Evêque, she can trace her way back to the safe house. She doesn't bring anything back with her, but she did a good job of keeping that route home clear. The worker at the doctor comes back and brings a little bag of goodies from the doctor, which will be useful later on. And the person here at Radio A, at the minute, what do I want? Do I want intel? Do I want cash? I'm going to go with intel because I think we're going to need that first. We get that. He also comes home. The Maquis go back and finish their patrol, and we move the counter to the next day. And that's as simple as the game loop is. Very, very simple mechanism. The crunchiness and the difficulty comes in how you make your decisions, how you balance your risk, how you choose to prioritise, and when you decide to sacrifice your workers. Let's go to the next day. So I think we want to do the same again if we can. It's a bit of a risk because we know that the Maquis have not been to Radio A yet. They have been to Radio B. They have not yet been to Radio A. So it is a risk, but I would like to go for that risk. Let's go back to Pont l'Evêque. And the patrol is going to go to the grocer. And I'm going to go to the doctor again. Aha, we've been cut off. The patrol is going to Radio A. Okay, we now need to think, what do we want to do here? Is there any way we can salvage at a different location? The real risk here is going to Radio B. We could go to Radio B, which would allow us to achieve the same objective as if we were at Radio A. The problem I have is that if the Maquis go to the black market, we're cut off, and that worker will be arrested because they won't be able to trace a route back without going through the Maquis. And I don't know, this early in the game, do I want to take that risk? The problem I have is that I don't think there's anything else. Worker must infiltrate the factory twice. Another option is I could infiltrate this factory and tick off one of these boxes on this mission. The challenge with that is if they go to the fence, and we know they have already been there, we're cut off. Both of those would be useful and they would further our objectives, but both of them seriously put us out on a limb. I think what I want to do, because I have seen the Maquis at the fence, but I have not yet seen them at the black market, I'm going to go ahead and infiltrate. I'm going to sabotage this factory. Okay. We do not want this patrol to go to the fence. Okay, they want to go to the grocer and they're already there. So next they're going to the poor district, which is here. And we got away with it. Okay. That was tense early on in the game. But you see how crunchy the decision space is. I absolutely love it. Okay, so let's deal with this brave person here who really went out on a limb for us. I'm going to put that cube there to denote that they have achieved the first infiltration of that munitions factory. And they are going to come all the way back to the safe house. This person is going back to the doctor and usefully picking up another bag of goods, which we will need later. And the third one holding Pont l'Evêque for us. And the Maquis go empty-handed. Ha ha ha. And then we move to the next day. Okay, so what do we want to do now? We still need that intel, don't we? Whatever we're going to do, we really do need the intel. We're not going to get... I want to deliver the intel. I have to leave the worker there. I have to get to one of these radio locations because I need a weapon and I need intel. So I think I need to stick with my plan. What I think I'm going to do, for reasons that will become clear next turn, is I'm going to go via the grocer. So I'm going to place my first worker in the grocer, which turned out to be a good move because they are going that side of the river to Radio A. I'm then going to the black market. They are going to Pont l'Evêque. Aha, it's like they are shadowing me from my previous turns, but I have changed my approach and I have outsmarted them, I hope. And I'm going to Radio B next. They can't go to Pont l'Evêque, they're already there. Pont du Nord is there. And again, we're okay. So the grocer, bring back some food. At the black market, we're not going to do anything at the black market because it impacts the town's morale and we really don't need to do anything yet. It was just useful to place that worker there to safeguard the retreat of the person at Radio B. And what do I want here? I went in for intel first, but I wonder if I should have gone with cash and set up this chemist making explosives, given that I need 2 explosives. Yeah, I'm going to change my approach slightly, and I am going to run an airdrop, which allows me to add 1 money or 1 weapon or 3 food on an empty field, and I'm going to run that cash there. I don't get that yet. I'm going to have to send a worker to there on a future turn to retrieve that cash, but it is there for me whenever I need it. And that worker comes back, the milice go, and we move to the next day. And when we end with a cube on one of these orangey colours here, the morale of the town takes a hit. I guess the constant police patrols aren't helping and it doesn't look like we've made super progress, so the populace are not happy and the morale track starts to go down. You'll remember from the outline of the game that if we get down to here we lose, but we actually start getting into difficulties before then, because if our morale drops even 1 lower than where it is now, an extra milice will come onto the board, which will be very complicating for us. We don't want that. So we can manage the morale of the town, and that is one of the things we need to do in order to achieve our objectives. And I think I'm going to want to do something about that on my next turn. Okay, so next, I do want to do something about morale. I don't have to do anything about it again until we get down here, so it's not incredibly urgent, but it is something we're going to need to bear in mind. I want to get back to one of the radios for some more cash. I am going to go to Pont l'Evêque first, and they're going to Radio B. I don't think I'm going to go to the poor district to increase morale yet. I really need this cash and I want to safeguard the retreat. Plus I have to shuffle the patrol deck now, which means that I can no longer be certain where the patrol is going to end up this turn, and I would, if I'm going to make a dash to the poor district to try and raise morale, I'd rather do that with at least an idea of whether or not they're going to be on my back. Okay, they want to go to Pont l'Evêque. I'm there. He's not going to go there if I'm there. He wants to go to Pont du Nord. That's fine. He can do that. And I'm going to go to Radio A. He wants to go to the grocer. Absolutely fine by me. Okay, so again, let's take an airdrop. Let's have that cash there. Let's get some more stuff, chemicals, and let's go home. We now move that down another day. We have enough cash to build the spare room to set up the chemist lab. We could do that on the next turn by sending workers to these fields to pick up the cash, and I definitely want to do that this turn. The question is, can I also make a dash to the poor district to deliver some food just to bump the morale of the town up? The number of soldiers is dictated by the number of workers I have, or the number on the morale track, whichever is the higher. So there will never be fewer. At the minute, while I've got 3 workers, there will never be fewer than 3. But there could be more, and I don't want there to be more. Okay, I'm going to make a decision as I see how this turn unfolds. So let's go to this field for that cash. They never go to the fields, by the way, or the cafe. This part, slightly south of the river, is safe from them. They're going to the fence. I'm taking a trip to my other field. They're going to radio B. And I am going to go to the poor district because I don't think there's a way with only 1 worker left that they can cut me off from getting back. So I am going to do that. I'm going to Pont l'Evêque. But I can get back through the black market and through the grocer. It's the long way around, but it can be done. So they deliver the food to the poor district. That brightens the spirits of the locals, and morale increases and gets us out of that danger zone. Meanwhile, we collect the cash from the field, and that was a successful evening's work. The milice go empty-handed again, and we move down. I'm a little concerned at the moment about our progress. We are a third of the way through. We're on day 5, and we haven't got a massively long way through our objectives. We have 1 piece of intelligence. We need 2. We have no explosives, no weapons. We do have the cash to set up the spare room for the chemist lab, and we do have the chemicals for them to work with when they're set up. But I'm just a bit concerned that we're moving too slowly. So let's just see how this turn goes. Okay, so I think what I want to do, there are 3 spaces on this beautiful double layered board where I could set up a spare room, and I'm going to want to do that in a place that is the most expeditious to me achieving my aims. I think that's here, because I need to be getting intel, I need to be getting airdrops, and I think it would just be helpful to just have potentially another way. Does it give me another way out? I don't think it really does. But I guess, you know, if I've got somebody here, I could choose to do either of these 2 things rather than trying to branch out in other parts of the board. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to Pont l'Evêque, and they're going to radio B. I'm going to the doctor. They're going to radio A. A little bit close for comfort. I am going to go to the spare room, and they are going to the fence. That's okay. Okay, so the order we choose to resolve these actions matters, because we are allowed to take something that we gain in an action and use it to further another action. So the first thing I want to do is surrender this to cash and build this chemist lab in this spare room. I have built the chemist lab, but I'm not yet able to have this person request some explosives because that worker has already done an action today, so they cannot do more. So they are just going to go back home, but that was a good day's work. This worker is going to the doctor to pick up a medicine bag, and this worker is going to go home. And the milice go back as well. And then day 6 again, morale goes down. Okay, I really want to start building some explosives, and a little frustrated at the pace that we're working at the moment. And I think I want to start taking a couple of risks and being a little bit less structured and measured about how I'm approaching this, because we've got so many things still left to do. And this is one of the beautiful things about this game. It ramps up the tension and it forces you to push your luck a bit when you would really rather be quite happily doing what I was doing and placing out workers in very safe locations in order to ensure that they can get home. I am now going to have to ask people to take some risks. So first things first, see, I do think I need somebody at the doctor's though, because there's no other way out. So I am gonna put somebody there. They're going to Radio A. I'm then going to put someone in the chemist lab. They're going to the grocer. Okay. Now I have a problem, because if they go to Pont-l'Evêque next, and I have to shuffle the deck before I draw, so I don't know where they're going. If they go to Pont-l'Evêque next, all is lost and everyone will get arrested. So I have to go here, but I'm frustrated that I have to go here, because it means that, again, I'm not making as much progress as I would like. Let's see where the Maquis are going. Radio A, they're already there. Pont-l'Evêque, I'm there. The black market, there. Okay, that's a close one. If they ever get to the bottom and they can't resolve any of the locations, they will go back to the top and they will try and make an arrest. So in this instance, if they had already got a worker at the black market, they would have gone back to Pont-l'Evêque and they would have arrested this worker and my whole resistance cell would have collapsed. A scary thought. Okay, as it is, we survived. We're going to give the chemist some chemicals. They're going to make us an explosive. We're going to get some more chemicals from the doctor and come home. And then the Maquis are going to go back as well. And we're on day 7. Okay, we are approaching halfway through and I am increasingly concerned that we're going to have to start taking bigger risks. I need more explosives. I need more intel. What I would really like is to visit both Radio A and the chemist lab this turn and achieve more stuff. To do that, I have to start out with the doctor, I think, to give me some room to retreat. We're going to the fence. Okay. Radio A. They will never go to a spare room, so I'm hoping that by blocking off Radio A, then I can then get somebody to and from the chemist lab. They are going to go to Pont-l'Evêque. Oh no. Oh no. Because they're at Pont-l'Evêque and the fence, I can't get out. Oh no. These 2 workers are lost. I'm going to go to the grocer. They want to go to the grocer. I'm there. They want to go to Pont du Nord. They can do that. And these people cannot get home. They're arrested. And I'm going to put them back in the game box. They are not available to us. Again, they've disappeared, never to be seen again after being arrested. This person comes back disconsolately with some food, and the Maquis are feeling pretty pleased with their night's work. They go back. We move to day 8 and things are really not in our favour. So we started with a confident, assured approach, a plan. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew that we had to do certain actions in order. We made a start on those, but we were concerned we were moving too slowly. We had to make more risky decisions, but the upshot of that, our recklessness, was that 2 of our Maquis have been arrested. They have been carted away and we don't ever see them again. And my cell is now this one person down here. Sad times. To make matters worse, at the end of the next day, we're going to lose morale again and the Maquis will increase by 1. So this does not look good. Okay, what can we do? We can do one of, the way I see it, my options realistically are 2 things. I can focus on trying to prevent the Maquis getting up to 4 by going to the poor district, giving them some medicine or some food and increasing morale. Or I can go to the cafe with some food to recruit another worker. At this point, I don't feel that, I'm 1 against 3 at the minute. I don't feel that adding another 1 is going to make my position even worse than hopeless, which it is at the moment. I think I'm going to prioritise trying to recruit some more workers. So let's do that. We'll move here. There are still 3 Maquis, so they will take 3 actions, one after the other now. Okay. I pay this and I retrieve another worker. Morale drops. The Maquis also recruit. And they're pretty confident right now, whereas we are. I don't even want to say we're on the back foot. I don't even think we've got a back foot. Okay. I think my next best bet is to try and recruit this other worker. See, the problem is that when we're on day 10, having achieved very little, so do I press on with only 2 workers against 4 Maquis to achieve these objectives, or do I try and swell my ranks? But that takes a day. It takes a day, but at the end of that day I would be stronger and better able to achieve some of the, at least one of these missions, right? I can achieve this sabotage. We've got to do something. Let's do it. Come on. Vive la resistance. Let's do it, man. I'm going to the grocer to get some food. And they're going to Radio B. I'm going to put that worker in the cafe. Radio B, Rue Ballarat. The fence. And I'll shuffle this patrol deck again. Pont-l'Evêque. Okay, fine. This person has been to the grocer, they've picked up some food. I can use that food for this worker to take their action to recruit a friend. And we're just going to do that. Okay, we're now going to try and get up to the fence, past the fence to this munitions factory to sabotage it. And let's see how we do. I'm going to take a route through the poor district, because if I'm able to drop some medicine off on the way, that would be a good thing, because then I could increase morale at the same time. I don't have 4 workers, so this is going to be the challenge of trying to achieve these objectives with the folks that I have. I'm going to Pont-l'Evêque first. They've cut me off at the fence. Oh dear, this is getting really difficult. What can we do? Let's go back to the radio. Let's go to the doctor on the way to the radio. They're going to the grocer. And let's go to radio A. They're already at the fence. They're going to the Pont du Nord. We would have struggled to get anything done this round. Okay, so let's get some intel, because we at least have some intel now. We can't get any medicine from the doctor because we already have everything from the doctor. We've cleared him out. Oh, hold on a second. There was an extra Maquis that we did not place. I forget that sometimes when they've got 4 and I'm on 3. They wanted to go to radio A. I'm already there. Pont l'Evêque, I'm already there. And the black market, so they can go there. Fine. Okay. It becomes a lot closer when they have 4. It's really difficult. And I didn't even make it up to the poor district that time. I have had games which have gone better. I've also had games which have gone worse. My most memorable game, I had 2 missions which seemed so easy and straightforward. I was almost gleeful with the confidence of achieving them very quickly. And I placed my workers, and then the Maquis walked into the grocer on turn 1 and literally everybody got arrested. That's my most memorable game. And it just goes to show that sometimes in games like this, yes, there's an objective you're trying to beat, but sometimes the story of how you have failed along the way is way more memorable than the story of a victory. It's nice to win, but I don't think that's going to happen today. Okay, I don't think we moved this round tracker, so let's do that. Right, come on. We're going to have to go back up towards the fence again. So let us start off at the poor district. They're going to Pont l'Evêque. Now, as long as they also don't go to the black market, I'm okay. The question is, are they going to go to the black market? At this point, I can't afford to play it safe. I'm not going to achieve my goals. So we're just going to go for it. Throw caution to the wind. They're going to the grocer. Oh, no. They've cut me off completely. They've cut me off. And these 2 are arrested. There's no need to. I don't think it's worth placing the other 2 patrols this turn because this guy can't even get out to go anywhere. Day 12. Folks, this is not looking good. Right. This intrepid little resistance fighter. Let's give her a name. Her name is Cecile. Cecile is the last standing member of this resistance cell. She's not going to give up. She is going to fight on in the name of her fallen comrades, and she is going to try and sabotage this munitions factory. Cecile, all of our thoughts go with you. Radio A. Radio B. Radio B. The Rue Baderat. And we reshuffle. Okay. We need this card to be anything but defense, poor district, or the black market. A tall order, and it's the fence. Oh, Cecile. She is truly heroic. As her last act before being arrested, the brave Cecile is able to complete the second act of sabotage on the factory, but she is then marched away, never to be seen again. The factory is damaged but will recover. The Maquis headquarters is not infiltrated. The resistance have been defeated. Raise a glass to my intrepid but fallen cell. They tried so hard. And that is Maquis. So I lost this game, and it is a game where you do lose. You are relying on things going your way, and sometimes they don't, but I feel that works very thematically in terms of, you know, these police guys stalking you across the city. It becomes very tense and very thematic, and I absolutely love it. I don't mind that I just lost the game, because I just feel that I've had a great story unfold in front of me. I've had some really tough decisions to make. I've clearly taken some risks that did not pan out the way that I intended them to. If they had worked, I think I would have got fairly close. I would definitely have completed this, maybe this, I'm not sure. But I did take a couple of risks that did not go my way. And that's the nature of the game. Sometimes you have to make that decision, you have to push your luck. And when you push your luck, sometimes it holds and sometimes it collapses underneath you, and that's what happened today. I love this game. I will just show you a few more things about it. So these are the mission cards, and I by the way, I love the artwork in this game. I think it fits the theme so beautifully. But there are these are the cards that have come with the game, and there are 2 difficulties. So there's 1-star missions. These were both 1-star missions, and then there are 2-star missions. So if you are learning the game, there is a combination that is suggested for your first game, but then you can draw blind from a combination of these. If you're looking for something more challenging, you can add in 1 or even make it both these. And then if you buy a later version of the game, it has been reprinted, and I bought this as an expansion, but it comes with the base game of the reprint. You get 3-star missions. They're on these tarot sized cards, and it's not recommended you use more than one of these per game, but you have very complicated missions with multiple objectives. I haven't even tried these yet. But when I am ready, they are there. And then you have all of these different folks that you can set up in the spare rooms: smugglers and forgers and fixers and counterfeiters, pharmacists, they make poison, informants, where you can get more intel. So that would have been an option to get a bit more intel. Another safe house. So one of the things that really impacted my ability to win today was not getting it back to the safe house, but you can set up a second safe house so that if you're somewhere else, you have another avenue of escape. And while it takes a bit of extra time to set up, I have in previous games found that to be a literal lifesaver, and propagandist as well, which that can help you to increase morale. And then you've got all these tokens for the different things you can do. So the game plays so differently depending on what your strategy is, what your missions are, how the patrol cards come out, how the morale track is working out, how the game is progressing. You definitely feel as the days progress this ramping up of tension and this need to get more done more quickly, which really pushes you. I am a risk-averse individual, and you saw me at the start very happily plodding away, doing these very slow but very secure little routes. it pushes you to do to challenge your strategy. It pushes you to do something that you are not comfortable with, and when you lose people, you really have that sense of, oh no, I've just lost someone. It's great. It's absolutely great. I completely recommend this game. It's compact, it is easy to learn, but the replayability factor, the variability, and the stories that it tells are just exceptional. So that's Maquis. Wanted to showcase it to you today. Would love to hear in the comments how you find this game. Tell me some of the stories of your memorable victories, your memorable defeats. Always love hearing them, and as ever, interested to hear your thoughts in general about this or any other game. So thank you very much for joining me on my rather ill-fated missions today. I will leave you to the rest of your day. I hope it's a good one, and I hope that you'll join me next time.